Good morning, and thank you for the organizers for the opportunity to contribute as a discussant today. I want to begin with a simple reframing question, one that sits at the center of this conversation. How do we help young people see entrepreneurship not as the act of starting a business, but as the practice of solving real problems in their communities? For many students, entrepreneurship has become synonymous with startups, venture capital, or personal profit. And while those pathways do matter, they reflect only a very narrow slice of what entrepreneurial thinking truly is. At its core, it's about the agency, the belief that you can identify a problem, design a solution, and take responsibility for its consequences. That mindset is far more transferable and far more urgently needed than business formation alone. Across education systems globally, students are graduating academically prepared but underprepared for adulthood. They might understand formulas, theories, historical frameworks, but they still struggle with paying their taxes, adapting to uncertainty, communicating effectively, or even thinking independently when there's no clear rubric or direction to tell them what to do. And these gaps aren't a result of a lack of intelligence or a lack of motivation. They are the result of an education system that prioritizes content mastery over the ability to navigate your life. That's where life skills education intersects directly with entrepreneurial mindset development. An entrepreneurial mindset is not built through lectures on innovation, but when young people repeatedly practice decision making, problem solving, and collaboration and reflection in environments where outcomes are uncertain and stakes feel real. In other words, entrepreneurship is experienced. One approach that I've seen work effectively is peer led life skills education, particularly structured around facilitator training rather than just top down delivery. So, in the peer led models, students are not passive recipients of knowledge, but facilitators, organizers, translators of ideas within their own community. So, that shift matters for two specific reasons. Firstly, there's the credibility. Young people often learn best from peers who actually understand and live their realities, cultural context, constraints, aspirations, all of that needs to be taken into account. And when a peer facilitates a session on budgeting, decision making, or leadership, the content's going to feel a lot less abstract and more immediately applicable to the student's specific situation. And secondly, there's ownership. When students are trained to lead, they internalize the skills that they teach. Facilitation requires a clarity of thought, empathy, adaptability, and accountability. These are all qualities that directly reinforce entrepreneurial thinking. And in practice, this model allows life skill education to reach diverse populations across regions and contexts while remaining locally relevant. Workshops don't become just identical replicas of each other, but they are shaped by each individual community. A facilitator training model also solves a persistent scalability problem in education. So rather than relying on centralized systems that require a lot more fiscal approval, facilitation just requires impact spread through human networks. Knowledge travels from person to person and applies and adapts as it moves. In practice, this model allows life skill education to reach diverse populations while also remaining locally relevant. And it's extremely critical as entrepreneurial thinking does not look the same everywhere. In some contexts, it may mean launching a small community initiative, and in others, it may mean improving household financial decision making, organizing local resources, or designing solutions to infrastructure or education gaps. When life skill training is grounded in context, it produces outcomes that extend beyond individual context, but includes behavioral changes, smarter financial choices, increased amounts of initiative, stronger collaboration, and a greater willingness to engage with the community rather than to just escape those problems in of itself. From an institutional and a policy perspective, this raises an important question. How do we promote entrepreneurial mindsets at scale without relying on expensive top-heavy systems? Now, peer-led, facilitator-based models offer several advantages here since they are low cost, that because they leverage existing students rather than new and advanced training methods for adults who have already been inducted in the system. And they're sustainable because each cohort of facilitators trains the next, and so on and so forth. And lastly, they're resilient because they don't depend on a single institution or curriculum and they remain intact. Thank you so much.